Good afternoon, one and all, especially to our St. Martiners living here in St. Martin and around the diaspora. I want to say a special good afternoon as well to persons living in, for example, in the UK, where we have all our students living. I want to say a special good afternoon. Today we're going to be here with a very special person. None other than a person that have contributed to St. Martin. Like we do almost every week, we try to select one of our St. legends or St. Martin icons or St. Martin heroes that has contributed in one way or the other. And we look at six different areas, whether it's educationally, socially, culturally, economically, politically, and spiritually. Those are the areas that we look at to be able to cover all of those that has been instrumental in bringing St. Martin to where it is today. Now we have none other than our own, and that is Miss Ruby Bute. Ruby Bute, good afternoon to you. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Jeffrey. How are you doing? I'm fine.
I'm doing great. And how was it? How has it been with you? I heard that you were ill a couple weeks ago. I just want to know how you're feeling, so
that was a special time for me because it was the ending of 2019, which was Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Just not a time to be taken up in the hospital.
Wow. So you spent Christmas Eve in the hospital?
Spent Christmas Eve in the hospital, came out on the 30th. So I had 6 days of treatments and to recover. I am still in my recovery mode, but getting
Step by step.
Yeah.
You're taking it easy though?
You have to take it easy. Under the doctor's orders, because you know me, Jeffrey, I'm always on the go and always, my creative ideas are always calming. Like I said, someday my creativity now has become more than me, the person self. It is a strong force.
Okay. Tell us something about you, Ruby. Ruby was born where, went to school where, I know you end up in St. Martin, where you are now. But
okay, wait, we're going with that now step by step.
Yeah, step by step.
Because you said where I was born and end up in St. Martin, and that won't end up. We're gonna fix it.
Okay, you're gonna fix it.
We're gonna fix the word end
Sure.
up. Oh yeah.
Of course.
I was born in Aruba.
Okay.
Correct. And my parents were from here.
From St. Martin.
St. Martin's back in the days in the early 40s when people had the boom of Aruba, the refinery,
Lago.
the Lago refinery. And my father, he, as a young man, wanted to make life better. So he went to Aruba to work, and my mom, she followed. And in the early part of the 40s, they got Ruby.
So you were there first time?
No.
Okay.
There are others before me. I have about 4 siblings before me when they went down there to work. And I was born down there. I had my school in there. And I had the Dutch education there. You understand? So I grew up as a teenager. My teenage life, my early marriage life, grew as well with 2 young kids, you know. So I had, you could say, up to my mid-30s being there. And that is the beautiful part of it, that not only me would tell you, we have 2 homes. A lot of us have 2 homes. Aruba, St. Martin. We love both homes equally. If you tell me to choose, I cannot choose because I would tell you Aruba was sweet old days. It was my youth. Come back now to St. Martin. St. Martin are interesting days. This is my adulthood.
Exactly.
This is the time that my kids are grown.
Yeah, okay.
This is the time that I'm so happy to see my grandkids. That I have grandkids now in their 30s, in their early 30s. And I am privileged and blessed, I must say blessed, to see and hear about my grandchildren, my
Great-grandchildren.
great-grandchildren.
Going back a little, why did you decide to come to St. Martin?
Why?
Yeah.
I'll come back to the story. My parents were St. Martiners.
Yeah.
And when we talk about St. Martiners, they were not borrowed or fighting to be St. Martiners. They were
Indigenous.
original St. Martiners. People who were in Aruba, loving their country or their island, St. Martin.
So did they speak to you about St. Martin?
Yeah, well, this is the story.
Yeah, okay.
When my father come from work, out
And
of
where you worked at Lago?
at the Lago refinery as a fireman. Yeah? And my uncles, everybody follow. And in those days, Jeffrey, it had the young men coming from St. Martin to work. The wives wasn't there yet. So my mother, she took care of the group. And when you talk about the group, we were all people related. I'm talking about love and solidarity and unity right now I'm giving you. And she would board these men. So the whole group get together, coming from a hard day work, to sit and have dinner as young bachelors before they go to their place to rest and to sleep. And I was a kid. But I come back to me, I was always a very keen listener. I was a child who was filled with curiosity. That was my nature. And a good listener. And those men and women, some of them from St. Martin, Saint-Martin, which you got to know the two sides. People come together in a country, in an island that is not theirs, Aruba. And at night when they eat, we didn't have no set of TV and stuff like that. So they would sit and relate each other about the happenings back home. It's to me, I never forget it. That's why the reason when I got up to St. Martin here, I wrote my first book, Golden Voices of St. Martin, because I heard stories. I would hear while they eating in the night who had calf, the cow that just made calf. The cow, they said that they were selling in St. Bart's, and you would hear them talk about the people in St. Bart's. It was a culture in our history that we can't recall enough of that today. And I commend you for coming out with this program.
Yeah.
For us, the older folks, to share. Because you would hear them say, the cha-cha coming over to buy some cattle. Who was the cha-cha? It was the people from St. Bart's. They were called cha-chas back then.
Okay.
By the
St. Martiners.
Yeah. They, you know, you always had a name for certain nationalities. And you would hear them talk also around the table having their food. They would know exactly when we have rainy season. In dry, hot Aruba, you would hear them say, well, I get a letter today, and they say it's raining a lot back home. And they rejoice about that. They say, raining? Oh, that's good. We're glad to hear that amount of rain in St. Martin. So I was about 6 years old.
Listening.
Listening, enjoying, imagining. And when my imagination grew that much, when the times alone with my mother came storytelling, how she was a true born storyteller. So I would get close to her after I hear about the cow and the goat and the pasture. They said, now the rain come, man, the place green. That time they're in Aruba walking in Lago. But they're rejoicing about that. You understand? And I would sit down with mother and I would say, Mother, how a cow look? Where we were in Aruba, I never saw a cow.
Never saw it. Oh.
I said, Mother, how a cow look? And she would tell me the cow is about this height and about that size. And my imagination as a child now is excited. And such a big animal is a cow. And she said a cow could give a lot of milk. And from that milk, that the cow, that's just my stories my mom gave me. A child born in Aruba, eh? She said that milk, you can make cream with it. And they used to call it balaclava, she said.
Balaclava.
Balaclava.
Balaclava?
Not
How you spell
please,
that?
I will come again to that way she told it to me. She said you could make balaclava.
How do you spell that?
Our language then had no dictionary for spelling.
Okay.
The people spoke their language as they felt it, as they saw it. So language, which we call dialect, was formed in with feelings and emotion and vision.
Feeling, emotion, emotions.
You understand? So and that goes through the whole Caribbean. Our speech swings into melodious imagination. And sometimes we say totally incorrect.
We know we mean.
All understand it.
Yeah.
We know what we're saying. So that old word, balaclava, you say balaclava, I tell you balaclava. But however you try it, an older person as you are interviewing us, the old heads, would know what it means. When that milk is brought to balaclava. And then she told me later on, she said, you know what? She said balaclava is what today, just before she died, she said, is what today in the supermarkets they call yogurt. And she said there is nothing sweeter than the natural balaclava.
Okay.
My mother taught me so much of this island that born in Aruba, but I had the knowledge.
So before you came back to St. Martin, you were aware of a lot of things about
Yes,
St. Martin because of your mom.
because of my mother.
The stories your mom told you about
The
St.
stories
Martin.
my mother gave me the culture of her island while she's there in Aruba. And I believe too, her longing to be back home.
Was to come back.
They used to say home, back. I never hear. Now it looks like it's a different thing now today. I am living in St. Martin, seeing a lot of Caribbean people, but rarely or never heard back home. I get goosebumps as I say this.
I can imagine.
Our St. Martiners were there, but their dream was one day
To go back home.
back home. I was a young teenager, finished high school, and my father, he decided soon when you finish college and school, we'd be going back home. And that back home that you hear, and I'm going back to my mother too, I'm giving you the stories all around. You hear the word back home was nostalgic.
Nostalgic.
Back home was, I will go through this that I have to do, my mission, but one day I'll be a proud man in my country, back
in my
home.
country.
And from my mother part was her emotions of missing the scent. The scent of when there is mango time. The scent of when there is palm syrup season and cashew season. And she told me all that. Living in Aruba, I knew it all from her. She would tell you even the change of seasons that we have right now. We're in January.
The fruit seasons.
Yeah,
Like
fruit,
when
the different fruit seasons.
Yeah, sugar apple season.
Sugar apple season.
Right.
The cotton tree.
Cotton
when
tree.
the cotton is blooming, and what they do with the cotton. How they make pillows with the cotton. She told me about the silk cotton. I never knew about the silk cotton tree.
Okay.
And right now I am living on my own property.
Yeah. Right to the back of you is a silk cotton tree.
The most majestic silk cotton tree on the whole island.
Yeah, exactly.
Is here.
Right.
And she explained me how from that kapok cotton they would make little beddings for the children to sleep.
Okay.
And you used to call that tack the bed.
Tack the bed.
They
were like mattresses?
They were little mattress.
Okay.
And handmade by these people, and pillows. And it all came from, as the viewers can see, the tree in the back of me, the silk cotton tree. So I grew up. Parents on my father, the pride not to stick his old age in another man's place. I grew up with the mother who told me all the culture. I knew St. Martin, the hills, the hills, the rock walls. How they
Because Aruba don't have any hills.
No, we had no hills.
No, we had no hills in Aruba.
The only landscape I saw when I was a kid, born in, not even, you call the area San Nicolas.
San Nicolas.
I was born in the village.
Oh, okay.
The great
Yeah.
village.
I remember the
As
village.
many viewers would enjoy to hear just the name, the village.
Yeah. A lot of them here was born in Aruba.
Oh,
They were born in Aruba.
we born in those areas.
Yeah, yeah.
We born in those areas. And
Lago Heights.
now the only landscape we knew was the lago around us. We saw the big black tanks that held all the petrol and the oils and the smokestacks. That is what I knew.
That's what you knew.
Yes, as a child and as a young person. And when I came here, and I look after landing off the plane.
You came in a plane or a boat?
Oh my God, not a boat, Jeffrey. I came
Because I know a lot of people came with
I came here in
Antigua.
1976. Planes were
Yeah,
flying.
exactly.
You see?
Yeah, yeah.
It had a generation before me who
of
came
course.
on schooners.
On schooners.
And the Antigua, those were sailing at a certain time, you know. But then when I came here, we had flights. And the day that I landed here in St. Martin, it was the 6th of November. 6th of November, 1976. Through the encouragement of my dad.
Dad.
Yes.
He's who
Told
pushed
me.
you to come back to Zimbabwe. But did he come back together with you? Or
No, he
you
came long before.
Oh, he came
He
before
came
you?
long before. This man worked so hard.
Oh.
He bought so much property. So he
Okay.
was a person who was, he prepared. You understand? He was someone, I don't know, my father had such a proud nature about him. He prepared. prepared for his family to come home. And when he was ready, and he bought lots of property on this French side, and he was very proud, and he didn't want his daughter staying in Aruba as a young woman, divorced now.
But you already
at
married
that
or?
time,
Oh,
right? Yeah, you come to marriage, and then you shift from marriage, being young, and inexperienced too. I would say now today, you shift into divorce as a young
How old you got
person.
married?
I got married when I was 19.
Oh, you're very young.
Very young.
Very young.
You know?
Okay.
And I got 2 kids
Yeah.
with my husband, and it was a little turbulent time. When I say turbulent, we were both young. And when you're both young, both inexperienced,
That's okay.
we need
That's okay. Let me
continue on that sentence.
Sure.
How
We're
is
gonna
it
just.
going?
It's going very good. I have Valerie.
It is
Let me just give you
history,
Valerie Carter. Valerie Carter.
Valerie
She's
Carter?
in one of the Carter ladies from St. Peter's.
Yeah.
She's saying hi, Miss Ruby.
Oh, that's my friend.
Happy New Year. She's a friend of yours. I have a cousin in Holland also says, Bongsi man.
Bonsi Mountain
Yeah,
there.
and I have member of Parliament, Sir Westcott Williams, also
nice.
viewing you. Hillary,
nice.
Maxine Taylor. I have persons from the Holland, one in New York, Glenroy Williams in Holland, or in Aruba. I think Glenroy is in Aruba, if I'm not mistaken.
After
Percy
Abraham
Rankins
and
as well.
Jackie.
I think you should know Percy Rankins.
Of course.
Yeah, he's a singer. He's also on Polo Jacobs and my cousin Rosenda Van Putten and Sharitza Ignacia, Diana, Janice. We have a lot of Frederick from the United States, Makiba in Holland, so Lydia Lawrence in Paris, so you have
Lydia
people
Lawrence.
Yeah. I think Lydia is from the north side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she a singer?
Singer, good artist.
But she lives now in
France.
Paris. Yeah, in France. Yeah, and my cousin, minister, he's living in Curacao. He's also looking on Sandra
Look at
Door,
that.
So you have so many people, my cousins.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. And they're hearing these stories, man.
yeah, they hear a lot of stories and great stories. We take a pause because of the fact that
Yeah, that pause is good, and then you continue.
that Miss Bute, Miss Ruby Bute just was coughing, so we decided to take a little minute out of your time, and then she'll continue with her story pertaining to her life. And I want to ask her to go into her cultural life as well. How she got into culture. I know back in the day she worked at the culture department with my sister. I can remember that very clear. So I wanted to delve into that as well. And as we go on, we're gonna walk through her yard. She has a very big yard here in Friarsbay, where we are recording this particular live stream. And then lastly, we are going to go into her gallery, where you're going to be able to see the different paintings that Miss Ruby Bute did. They're tremendous, believe me. So stay tuned. Do not come off of the podcast, because you're going to be seeing a lot of Ruby's work at the end of this live broadcast. And we hope that you will enjoy it. What you can do as well is to share it with others, so that they'll be able to come on as well and listen to the stories and to the history of icon, one of St. Martin icons, Miss Ruby Bute. Gail Hodge is saying, hello, good afternoon. I don't know if you know Gail Hodge. She's saying good afternoon.
Yes.
She's loving the stories.
Friends,
And now those are some of your friends that coming on. My sister's on Mirukia Richardson from Control Man.
Mirukia.
So,
that's my daughter's partner. On the dance floor.
On the dance floor. She's one of St. Martin's greatest singers.
I know.
Yeah.
And playing in one of St. Martin
Greatest
only best salsa band.
Exactly. So as soon as you're ready, we're ready to go. I have Charles Gibbs as well. Charles Gibbs is viewing from, I think, Massachusetts, in the States.
Nice.
Charles Gibbs' father is from the northern side of St. Martin as well. Charles Gibbs.
You
The
know,
Gibbs
some of
is
the
from
people.
over the
Yeah,
side.
we got Gibbs over here.
And also Reggie Pantoflet's son, Fritz Pantoflet, that is in a wheelchair. He also says, we want to say hello to our own icon. Honorable Miss Ruby Bute.
Wow.
I salute you with God which is blessing.
Thank you. The same to you.
Yeah, and Gail is saying her daughter was one of your students. Yeah, Gail Hodge.
I have so many students.
Her daughter was Abigail Hodge.
Abigail. Yes, the name comes to me.
Yeah. Now you can
Yeah,
continue.
Abigail Harmon, yeah.
You could continue.
But where we stopped to the
Yeah,
last sentence.
you were back in St. Martin. You came back here to
in
St. Martin.
1976.
1976.
November.
And what did you do after you came back to St. Martin?
Well, you know, when I came back to St. Martin, as back in them days in the 70s, I could remember St. Martin was on a wonderful swing. Everybody, the same people that went to Aruba coming back now to St. Martin because here now where the tourism trade started.
Start to bloom.
Started to bloom in the hospitality and the hotels, and you could get a job. And you know what was so interesting back then? Especially the 70s, you could have walked out, go job hunting, and end up having 3-4 jobs to choose from. You don't know which one.
You're kidding me.
Pick the one of the best.
Back in the
one
70s.
Yeah, man. That was just the real upcoming bloom of St. Martin. And I would say too, if you look at what St. Martin was then, even in leadership, it was encouraging for people from all over the Caribbean to come here.
Okay.
Because
So we attracted persons from all over the
we
Caribbean.
attracted people
Yeah.
from all over the Caribbean. But
Because
then-
of the bloom.
Because,
Economic bloom.
Yeah. The economic bloom, the movement, you see? And not only people from the Caribbean, but the whole world.
The whole world.
It's unthinkable that 37 square miles is looked at globally.
So we are greater than we think we are.
But we start to sit good and think of who we are yet. That's a bad part of it. Because sometimes you look outside and think that the greatness is out there. When the greatness is in the small area. It's also in the mind of even the simplest person on the island. And I'm proud to say that, and I'm bold enough to say that this is St. Martin. How many interviews I haven't had worldwide? And I ask myself sometime, I'm telling you.
So can you name some of the places that
sometime,
you traveled for your job? Because I know you.
I'm not
travel
such
all
a
over.
traveler.
Okay.
That's another thing, but the world comes to me.
The world comes to you.
I don't travel much, but the world comes to me, Jeffrey. People come here, they come for workshops, they have people
But tell me some things about your workshops.
Well, telling
how
you.
did you
I receive universities from Miami, from America, the States. They come and we do cultural exchange. I am amazed because I'm not a traveler again, I say. But people come
but
from
tell me
all
what
over.
your cultural exchange is all about.
My cultural exchange.
Because the people that are viewing want to know what you do, how you started it, etc. It's important for them to know that.
They will hear it because I am always asked, and the first question is, at what age did you start painting? And it has become a question that people, first question of an interviewer, At what age did you start painting? And this island woman, as some of them would say out there, this island woman could tell them, I'm now in my 70s. I have started painting when I was 6 years old.
The tender age of 6.
Very tender age that I knew a paintbrush. I knew paints. I would mix colors. Sometimes I would make a mess of it, but learn from the mistake and go back again. And I was a kid. But my father was seeing that this could be something good. Unfortunately, he's not here with me to see.
So did he recognize your
He
talent?
recognized it, and he was the one who I would be proud and tell people, she's a great artist. And I would say, oh my God.
But you didn't even know.
I didn't know.
Good.
I didn't know. But today I know.
Yeah, he discovered you.
My dad is the first one who discovered me.
Wow.
And I didn't know. So when he is bragging about me in my teen years,
Wow.
and he's saying, you see her there? She can paint you. And I would say to myself, oh Lord, Daddy. But he was right.
He was correct.
In his lifetime, he was right.
He was correct.
So then I said to myself, I wish he was alive to see his words come true.
So he died before you became that person that was so,
Yes. Yes.
elaborate in painting.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But he was making me so elaborate before
Before
it
you
even happened.
Yeah. Before it can even come to pass.
Before it even come to pass. And now today,
Yeah.
I teach.
Or you teach people to paint.
I give lectures, workshops, and I think by now I can bring color to compare it to sounds of music.
Wow.
I did a class like that once,
Oh.
and that was a great class with my best friend Anastasia Larmani.
Yeah, I spoke to her a couple of days ago.
She was on the
In the
piano,
Netherlands. Yeah.
bringing the notes, and I bring in the colors from the notes to the class, and experiencing the sound of music compared with color, and asking the children at a certain sound of music, what would you taste? What would you see when you hear this? So, some interesting things happen, Jeffrey, without I even having a university degree. Never had that.
So all of this you kind of develop at home without going into a classroom.
In a classroom, develop as I grew older, read good books.
Good books.
Read books that would teach you more mentally, mindfulness, color, visualizing. That's me. And I share it.
With others.
So I don't only keep it for me, I share it. And there's nothing better than when you can sit and speak to youngsters and see everybody is listening to your every word. Then you know you have transmitted it on, because it came from the two parents. And I took it and now I'm giving it. And I find it's my obligation, it's my responsibility. I've done it so long.
But were your parents also painters as well? That's interesting to know.
That is interesting to know.
Yeah.
My dad, very artistic, was guitarist, musician. He loved, imagine, this man, he loved classical guitar. I grew up hearing that. I grew up listening to classical music played by my father. And I can call one of the greatest names worldwide guitarists that my dad had a collection of, Andres Segovia.
He was from where?
Spain.
Spain, yeah.
And I'm telling you, that
Andres?
molded Andres Segovia. That training molded me. That training polished me. I'm not saying I'm perfect, eh? I am not talking as if I'm a perfect saint, but the home training that I had that was blended with music and good books made me who I am, made me give it on to my children, and made me see others. And if they needed help, I was there for that. So today, Jeffrey, I could tell you that I do not charge anymore for my classes.
No? But you still do classes?
Not exactly, but you are free to come and visit here. Come with your canvas, come with your brushes. You want to know something? I'll spend an hour or two with you and tell you it's fine. I don't charge anymore. For my knowledge, what I want to share.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to share it. I want to see St. Martin young people come up to
Yeah. Evolve.
evolve the finer things of life that break down the young person from the passion of violence, from the passion of, we don't have enough of it here, and we need it more. We need more teachers. You need your academics.
Of course.
Always, your academics, they come first.
Yeah.
But where is the soul? When you go to Motown, the soul.
Yeah. Soul trainer, remember that?
You got the soul train, you got the soul music, you got the soul food.
Yeah, soul food.
You got the soul.
Yeah.
And if the soul is lacking, then there is a faltering of intellect, a lack of inspiration. You need that. As again I said, the soul. And the soul has to be molded, the soul has to be trained, the soul has to be refined. And a lot of things that is happening today, even worldwide, is because of the lack of.
But
The lack of. The moment to reflect, the moment to admire. You hear that word? Admire. Look around you, see things. Now we have some friends in Europe looking at us.
Yeah.
And
All
I
over
will
the
be
world.
able to describe to them.
in the US too.
In my beautiful yard.
Yeah, I want to take some time out just
We're going to walk through there.
And I see you have a lot of trees. I don't know if you know all of them.
Most of them.
So you could talk
And
about
we're going to walk through there because this morning we had some rain. I want to let the folks know these days God is blessing us with lots of rain. It's raining a lot. And when the sun comes out after that, all the trees look like they had a great, nice, like they passed through a nice laundromat. Spiritual laundromat.
Yeah.
All the green leaves, so bright, everything, look at our skies is blue back again. So those of you who is in the cold, I just giving you just a little insight of what this is here. And it's on the northern side of Friarsbay.
Yeah, the French side.
The French side, they said, the French or the Dutch, I say the northern
The
side.
northern side, yeah.
This is where I reside in. And we can take a stroll.
So we could,
And I want them also to see the achievement of a dream,
yeah,
which is my gallery.
you gotta read. Yeah. We'll do that after. But let us go. Just very slightly. I don't want you to, to go too fast. I know that you went through a little illness a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And the ending of December. So I'm gonna just take a stroll with you.
On next thing too, many people know my daughter Jackie,
Oh, yeah,
and
Jackie.
she's here taking
Jackie's
care
well
of me since I was ill. So
Okay.
I would love to introduce Jackie, and I know some friends going to give her a shout out, and we're going to
Jackie was
walk
born in
together.
Aruba as well?
Jackie was born in Aruba.
Okay.
Ah, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think Jackie's well known because I can recall when Jackie came to St. Martin because
Yeah.
her brother and her, I think she was in my brother's class,
Yeah.
and her brother was in my class.
Okay.
So, and they came to St. Joseph's School, I think it was.
St. Joseph
Yeah, St. Joseph's
School when
School
I
they went
came. So this I present you here, my first
Here we have
born,
Jackie. Throw look.
Afternoon, everyone, viewers, family, and friends.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Jeffrey, for this
no problem.
Yes.
wonderful interview. My mom told me that you was going to come by today, and here we are.
So
So.
we are busy trying to we're trying to cover all of the St.
Oh, we're
Martin
going to take a
icons. We are
nice
just
stroll.
Yes.
chosen. So we're gonna go through her yard. She want the viewers to see the kind of trees she have.
Yeah.
She has a very big yard as well. And I would love for her to at least say what those trees are all about because some of the trees I'm looking at, I'm like, what those trees are.
Yeah.
I know the cotton tree, it's a cotton
This
tree.
is cotton tree. Well,
you know.
this is the oldest and the
In-
most
in
majestic
St.
looking
Martin?
tree. Yeah, this tree is like over 300 years old.
Wow.
And you see how it stands out so beautifully, so majestically,
But does it grow cotton still?
Yes, it grows cotton.
And around which time? Around what season? What time of the year?
Well, around this time, January. So
January.
some of them have their flowers out already. But this one here, like I said, she stands out so beautifully.
Yeah, it's
Everyone that comes here, they loves to take pictures by this tree.
Okay.
This tree produces a special cotton. That's why it's called the
Oh,
silk cotton.
Okay.
It's like silk that the
Okay.
slaves and back in the in the days this was a plantation and they would export this cotton to places like France so that they can make clothing,
Wow.
even little pillows,
Okay. Yeah. Jamaican and stuff like
the
that.
silk underwear.
So okay.
Yeah, so this is the tree, and these trees are known only in this area here called Friarsbay.
Only in Friarsbay?
Yeah.
So they are not known on the southern part of
Well,
St.
I
Martin?
cannot speak for the southern part, but what I'm saying on the French side, in this area here, is where you will find the silk cotton tree. So if you go all the way around Friarsbay, all the way
There's more of
down,
them.
there's more of them.
Yeah.
So it's like in those days they were planted here by the slaves, and in this area here, so you can only find them basically in Friarsbay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then we
And this is
have-
one of the biggest ones.
This is one of the biggest, one of
in
the
Friarsbay.
oldest.
And the oldest.
And
300 years old.
300 years
Wow.
old, and
When you look at that
the roots.
the roots.
Yes.
The roots are going all the way out.
Yeah.
I mean under the tree
Yeah.
there. Wow.
And she got some damage by Hurricane Irma, as you can see
Okay.
some of the branches.
Okay.
But she came right back, like Mother Nature and everything. She came right back.
Wow.
And we are supposed to be having flowers soon. And the beauty of this tree is the flowers comes out at night.
Okay.
And I can show you some pictures that I took that
Wow.
at night is like little lights. They're like
You kidding
and
me?
they're pink. So it's something beautiful to experience.
So
How these
when you as if the
They look
lights-
like lights, little pink lights.
Wow.
I'm going to send you some pictures
I would
that
love
I
to.
took,
Love to see it.
how it looks at night.
No, all of us it. Beautiful.
So this is the queen of the trees. We have other
imagine.
fruit trees, such as the mango trees.
But I think
because
your
Friarsbay-
mom is gonna go through those trees
yeah,
with me
yeah.
because I know this is the cotton tree she
It's
told
a
me
cotton
about
tree,
it.
but I know a lot of them too. Like
Oh,
the
as
little
well?
palms
Okay.
are red-
But who you
little
learning from?
palms are
Your
red.
mom? told you about him?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather.
My grandfather when I came
Your
here in the
grandfather.
70s, yes.
So, but your grandfather is one that bought this property?
My grandfather worked very hard, like my mom said.
Yeah,
He
she
saved
told-
his
yeah.
money.
Okay.
And he would send his money to St. Martin, to his brothers that were living here. And when they knew of
any
property
property,
was being sold,
He would send the money
he
back.
would send the money to them
To St.
and
Martin.
trusting that they would
Purchase
purchase it for him. So
Okay.
this property starts from the beginning of the road here
Okay.
all the way down to the beach.
You kidding me?
Yeah, so it's already divided, so each child has their
Your
part.
portion.
So my mother took the front part because of her business with the art gallery.
Oh, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
that it would be more,
Yeah.
closer
People can come,
and
the customers,
accessible.
more accessible.
Accessible, yeah. So that's why we have the front, but then the other family brothers,
Have to the back.
yeah, they have the back part. Go to the back.
And that tree is a plum sweat tree.
So this tree is a palm tree,
Yeah, I know that one
and you
very
know
well.
we used to have palm trees in St. Martin a lot,
course.
but now we're not seeing them because they're chopping down everything and they're building up.
Yeah, but I did see a couple plum sweat trees.
But this
and they-
tree here, and we have different ones all over. And every time the children would come to do a project from school, or even adults, they're so enticed, and they want to eat palm red and they pick and then we have the different trees, and each tree has a different. You have one tree sweeter than the
Sure,
next.
sure, of course. I know that the sugar apple trees one that
And then we have sugar
I used to
apple.
like that.
Yeah,
You have sugar apple as
We
well?
have sugar apple. We have
Wow.
tamarind.
Everything here.
You kidding?
Yeah.
Nah, you gotta be kidding.
Jeffrey.
No, you gotta be kidding me.
I
I think there's a
want
Makiba
my,
Hassel. Want to tell you something?
I want
Ruby,
Okay.
one of her long ago fans sends hi from the Netherlands.
Who's that?
I met her in person once when I was younger and was inspired and aspiring. She told me she believed in me. I will never forget. And she said, I'm telling my son the story now.
Wow.
And that comes from Makiba Hassel. You met her sometime years ago. And she was residing in the Netherlands.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, and she's looking at you right now.
Good to hear from you, Nakiba. All the best for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are going through now of Ruby. Going to be telling us more about the different trees.
Different trees. Yeah, you see, there's a young mango tree here. This
A young mango tree. Okay.
And she's a short breed.
Yeah.
But she's ready to give fruits already.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you see the leaves turning
Okay.
brown.
We have
And-
two of
and
those.
Everybody loves a palm syrup. Look how many palm syrups all on
Yeah.
the ground.
I see them.
You see?
Call them quaily when they get the kind of.
Yeah,
like-
when they turn brown,
Brown,
yeah.
yeah.
And even when they turn brown, they're nice too.
they're sweet.
But
Very
do you
sweet.
know I make liquor?
She make the
Oh, liquor, okay.
palm red punch.
With the palm sweat.
Yeah.
Palm sweat punch.
Yeah.
Anybody taste that?
Yeah, I know.
You
Yeah.
know.
I know. I know the
just
palm
now,
sweat punch, lime punch.
You see here, Jeffrey, when I came
Oh, I
to
see.
establish
A bonfire.
My mother tell me about the coal keel.
Oh,
so
it's a coal
I
keel.
say, oh, that will be the coal setup.
Yeah, that's
So
what
I
it is.
put it
Prepare
here
it.
as a showpiece.
Oh,
It's not burning. I wouldn't
It's not
burn
burning.
it. I would not burn it, but when the kids come and I have my workshops, I show them how a coal keel
looks.
Look how it starts.
When you say cooking, you can get coal from
Burning the
Yes.
wood.
those kind
Yeah.
of things.
they had the way to,
That kind of wood.
yeah, they know how to, and back in the day, they know how to cover it with dirt and correlate a bush and leave it. But at the
And that's what you use for
Barbecue.
For barbecue?
Yeah.
the best
Yeah.
back
kidding me?
then on your coal pot.
wow.
You see? So these things,
It's history, it's culture.
Yeah.
this is nothing to ignore.
No.
You know? One day, I believe very strong. Coal pot again, you know. Nothing wrong with it.
You know? But her brother, he was a coal, burning coal. He was, what do you call those people, mother? What is, somebody that
He's the one coal key.
Yeah, that was his living.
His profession.
His
yeah.
profession. He
But there was a guy in Belvedere used to do it as well.
Also,
Yeah.
and you know, these are the people who are leaving us.
Yeah, they're leaving us.
And you cannot just leave culture fade away.
Yeah.
That's why I said I must put this
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, but how can we pass that on, that knowledge
But
on
that's
to
the
our
thing.
younger
That's the
people?
thing.
How can we do that? And how would you recommend us to do that? How would you, envision us being able to have
share.
persons like you
Many times.
to share with the young person so they can
Yes.
continue with it?
Yes,
Many
it's
times
Passing on the baton.
I have suggested, even
Yeah.
in government, that in each of our sections of little villages, do not ignore the older ones.
Don't ignore the older.
Bring
Okay, it's back on. Go ahead.
You ready?
Back on.
Yeah.
We have here, we are back here with Miss Ruby Bute, and she's in her yard, and we're taking a little, a little walk around the yard,
Walk around
and we're
with
talking nature
tree,
in her yard.
and,
Yeah.
and this is where you get the cotton, as I told you, the mattresses back in the old days, the pillows, the silk cotton tree. But this was one of the largest on the island. This tree, 300 years old.
I'm hearing from somebody from Holland that is saying the best wood